If you've installed Linux Mint, you'll know how fast and easy that is to do. But you also know that's only the beginning. There's all those apps and settings, especially if you've been using the system for some time, and you've probably made a lot of customisations. Things like your personal dictionary in your Office program, your firewall configuration, email client, bookmarks, and on it goes. So whether you're upgrading, doing a fresh new install, moving to another machine, distro hopping, or just want to back everything up, this can save hours of time and frustration. However, different configurations, usernames, drives, mount points, your FS tab file configuration, different versions of operating system and different versions of apps. Other variations can cause conflicts. So you do this at your own risk, and I recommend doing it early after a fresh install. You can do it at any time, obviously, but that's obviously the most advantageous time, and before you get too far down the track. So with that said, I have been doing this for some years and have pretty good success with it. It's not 100%, but it usually works satisfactorily. So you have been warned. I recommend saving all the default profiles as I've done here. I've called it Fresh System Profiles. And if we have a look in there, some of my home folders, Office, Firefox, that sort of thing, off this fresh system that I'm running here. And this one here, these are the profiles off my old system. And we're going to attempt to bring some of these into the new system and save a little bit of time. And to give you an idea, I'm going to use Cairo Doc. Just move the panel to the top. And we'll start Cairo Doc. Now I realise most people won't be using Cairo, but this illustrates very well what I'm talking about. So as you can see, we get the welcome screen, and the dock looks pretty bland. And there's this other the workspace switcher over there. So we'll just right click on the dock and we'll go to the configuration tool. And under themes, I can now browse into my downloads. Here's my profiles I've saved, this Cairo Doc. And I apply that. And within a few seconds, you can see it looks completely different. Some of the icons will need fixing because the systems are different. For example, Waterfox is not installed here. But if we go to the configuration and appearance, I know under custom icons should give me an improvement. So we'll apply that, and there they are. That's fixed all that up. So that's just an illustration of the sort of thing that I'm talking about. Let's try some words in LibreOffice. Sunday, no, it didn't capitalise it. Monday, same thing. Bathurst, it's just a town in Australia. It hasn't recognised that either. And Tirana is an Australian car, same thing there. If we look at tools, options, and then paths, we can see here's the dictionary. We'll get into that a little bit further. There's autocorrect and there's other stuff in there. You can look more deeply into this. I'm just sort of giving you the idea. We'll close out of there. We'll try, there's one more, is haven't. I usually just type it like that and it automatically corrects. But it hasn't done it this time, so we'll close out of there. This is my LibreOffice Backup here. On the right hand side, on the left, if we go to, we'll need to press Control H to show hidden files. So that's View, you can see there it's selected now, Show Hidden Files. And I've actually made a shortcut here. So it's in your username, .config, LibreOffice, and then this is version 4, which will be the same for version 4, 5 and 6 because I've made no significant changes. I'll touch on that a little bit later on when I show you the links and so forth to the wiki and that on LibreOffice. We come into here, and here's all the configurations the same. This is my backup on the right. This is the fresh system on the left. You'll see there's no Word book on the fresh system because I haven't made any customizations yet. So all we're going to do is copy all these folders from the backup on the right, and we're going to paste them into the left, into the current system. And we're going to select apply this action to all files and folders, and then hit merge, and again apply this action and hit replace. Now we've come back into LibreOffice. We'll try it again with Sunday, and that's worked. We'll try Monday. That's worked. Bathurst, it's capitalised it, but it obviously doesn't recognise it as a word because it's an Australian town. So I'm going to start building my new dictionary from here. I'm just going to right click and go add to the dictionary, so that should be right next time I upgrade my system. And we'll try Tirana. That one's worked. And we'll try haven't. When I press the space bar, that automatically corrects as well. This is the first time I've run Firefox. As you can see, it's pretty standard looking. If we go into preferences, I normally have the search bar here. I've normally got some add-ons, and I normally have the bookmarks toolbar showing that sort of thing. And I'm normally on a different setting for the cookies, that sort of thing. I'm normally on custom or strict. If we type about profiles into the address bar, that brings us to here. And we can see profile, it's called default release. And here it says this is the profile in use and it cannot be deleted. And there's also another one down here. And we can create a new profile if we want to, but we're going to work with this one here, the default one. And this is its name, vk5 whatever dot default dash release. So we'll open the directory, and here we are in the username .mozilla Firefox, and this is all the files for the profile. On the right hand side, this is my Firefox profile off my old system. You can see I've got some bookmarks, and I've actually got the Firefox bookmarks and Firefox profile. If we want just the bookmarks, we could right click up here, we could add the menu bar, and we can go bookmarks, show all bookmarks, and then we can import and back up. We can import and back up. And hit restore and choose the file, and if I go into downloads, into my profiles, and there's my Firefox bookmarks, there's the bookmark file, and we'll go OK. And now if we have a look in bookmarks, you can see we've got some bookmarks in there. If I bring up the bookmarks toolbar as well, there you can see we've got more in there. I'll just return it back to a more default look. So we'll now close Firefox. You see it also asks the question here to close the tabs. And now we'll go back into the profile folder. We'll just come back up one level. This is on the system, and here it is there, vk5.default-release. So we know that's the current working profile. On the right hand side here from my backups, we're going to go into my Firefox profile. There they all are there, so we're going to copy all of those from my old system. We'll copy, and we're going to dump them into this new profile over here, so we'll go paste into folder. Again, we're going to apply the action to all files and folders and hit merge. And same again, apply it to all files and folders and hit replace. And now if we open Firefox again, See my bookmarks are back, and I've got some add-ons installed here. I've got the search bar. If we go and have a look at some of the properties inside, and we go to privacy, you should see we're on strict. And I've got my auto scroll set up, stuff like that. So there's my whole profile for Firefox imported. So we'll go back into profiles, and we're actually going to make a bookmark. So we'll go bookmark, this page, and we'll put it into the toolbar. And there it is there. So now we've got a nice shortcut to get back in here. And all I just did a search for exporting a user profile in Firefox, and found a link, and then read all the information there on the Mozilla website. And for LibreOffice, same thing, exporting profiles. Took me to a LibreOffice article, and then you can start to work your way down through there. It does explain here. You can see Linux, LibreOffice 4, 5 and 6, and LibreOffice 3 and 3.5. This was explaining about the version numbers. So currently 4, 5 and 6 are using this system here. You can see it's got the number 4 there. If you're using Timeshift, be aware that by default it doesn't back up user home directories, and it says it right here under users. So if you think you can do all this and then just hit Timeshift to get out of trouble, you might be in for a bit of a unpleasant surprise there. As you can see, we've been using just in our home directory here, so we've been in the username, config LibreOffice, etc. So Timeshift's not going to touch any of these if something goes wrong. Now whether you use another backup, I think there's a backup built into Linux Mint. There's also utilities like Redo Backup, and I think FileZilla or one of those sorts of things. You can do a bit of a search for that sort of stuff. As I mentioned before, you do all this at your own risk, of course. I intend this video to be more of a pointer into the direction of doing these things rather than a full-on tutorial, and hopefully I've given you the tools and a bit of a preview of what to expect should you decide to investigate doing this for yourself. Using these processes probably saves me a good couple of hours on setting up a new machine, and it probably does it more effectively than what I can do in a single sitting anyway. There's just too many settings in too many applications. So for the few little things that get missed here and there, it's a bit of a bonus as far as I'm concerned. So I hope it's given you some food for thought, and you can do a little bit of research and start doing your own profiling.